Am I wrong for singing a song to my wife at our wedding and making her angry? I just got married last week. My wife and I are both in our 30s. I am Mexican, she is American, but we both grew up in the US and both of our families know both languages. My wife planned every bit of the wedding and was very controlling and a nervous bride. But alright, I get that she was stressed. During the reception, I went to the band and asked them to play a song for me to sing to my new wife. It was Te Amare by Miguel Bosé. It was a song from our first date in a really bad Mexican restaurant, so it became a long-standing joke between us. The guest really loved the song. My mother-in-law cried and told me it was beautiful, but my bride seemed upset. I asked her what was wrong, and she said that I'm an asshole for taking the spotlight to enforce my ethnicity and not just let the band sing our song for us. So, am I the asshole? Ridiculous, right? Which bride would be mad at her groom for singing her a song like that? This story was actually taken directly from my Reddit recap as the one submission I kept coming back to this year. Reddit recap includes a summary of the time you spent on Reddit, the content you most engaged with, and the top communities you viewed or joined. Download the Reddit app today and check out your Reddit recap and let me know what post you kept coming back to so that I can share it. I cheated on my wife last night. I don't know what to do. Obviously, I need to tell her, but I still haven't been able to get my head around it. One of my coworkers were leaving, so we all went out for drinks and then to a club. My wife's not a drinking or clubbing type, so she stayed home but was fine with me going. I was drunk. I know I was drunk. My head is still pounding. I remember being at the bar, then at the club, then waking up with the woman I didn't know on top of me in a house I didn't know. She said something like, "Oh shit, I thought you were asleep," and got off of me. I got my clothes and quickly got the hell out of there. I walked for however long until I got a taxi and I got home at like 6 a.m. My wife works early shifts, so she started work at 5 a.m. and I haven't seen her. I don't know who the woman was. I haven't spoken to my coworkers. I don't even remember getting there. I don't remember leaving the club with her. I love my wife. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Even drunk, I don't know how I could have even had it in my subconscious to cheat on her. I don't even think I was that drunk. Like I'd only had 3 or 4 beers before going to the club and I usually have a pretty high tolerance. I cheated on my wife and I don't even remember. I don't know what to do now. I haven't gotten out of bed since getting home except to throw up, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to look my wife in the eye when she gets home in a couple of hours. I feel so sick.
I'm 26 and my husband 29 is obsessed with my boss 38 and it's all my fault. I started this job about 1.5 years ago. The moment I started, I felt like I was in the right place. My boss, the owner of the company, is very cool and kind. She's self-made and loves her job. She does a lot of dirty work herself that bosses who have 30 to 35 employees wouldn't have to do. But she just loves it. On top of that, we have a 6-hour workday. Our salaries are 20% higher than the market, and we have 7 paid vacations a year. I was so proud of working with a woman like her, so I wouldn't shut up talking about her to my husband, especially in the beginning. My husband was as fascinated with her as I am, until he met her in a company party last Christmas. She must have been beautiful when she was young. She could have been a model. I think his fascination became a crush or an obsession, or maybe worse, love. Now he follows her on SM. Her accounts are private, but he stalks her with my account. He also follows the company IG and likes every picture that she's in. He asks about her all the time. She's a very private person, but when her divorce from her ex-husband was finalized in the beginning of this year, we all found out because he started showing up to work. He owned half of our company now, and he started to try and make changes in our work hours and salaries. We found out that her husband had cheated on her with a younger girl who he also tried to employ in our company. She still works with us. She, probably lawyers involved, eventually convinced her husband to sell her back his share. We're still in the process now. My husband has followed all of this and he was so sad for her and so angry. How could anyone do this when they had a woman like her? If it was him, he would cherish her, love her, blah, blah, blah. Who leaves a woman for a girl? I got very angry and told him that all men prefer younger women if they could choose. He laughed at me and told me that only losers do that. The last drop was last Friday. We were out for a movie night when we saw my boss with a young man. He looked in his mid-20s. My husband lost it. He didn't know that she dated younger men. He wanted us to go and say hello, but I refused and yelled at him to control himself because he looked pathetic. When we got home, he was frantically going through her SM until he found the guy and he sighed in relief. The guy was her nephew and we didn't see the whole company, but they were out with other family members. My husband was so happy like a weight was lifted off his chest. I lost it on him. I started crying and yelling and told him that he was in love with her, and he was shocked when I pushed and kicked him out of the bedroom. I locked the door. He stood outside trying to calm me down, telling me that he loved me and I'm his girl and always will be. Then he said something that ruined me even further. It's not like someone like her would look at me anyway. I haven't slept since. Why is he feeling like this? Is it love? Infatuation? She's too old for my husband, so what is it? And why would he think that he couldn't have her? He's very handsome and still young. And does he mean that I'm less than her to accept him? Or is it purely money and status? He refuses to admit anything. And what can I do now? I love this job. I love the benefits. Thanks to this job, our life has improved and we can afford more than just the necessities. I'm starting to hate my boss though, and I hate myself for idolizing her in front of my husband.
Today was weird, today felt like maybe it was a dream. I woke up this morning and I was like, whoa, I am so sad. Why am I so sad? And then my period brain said, because your period's starting today, remember? And I was like, oh yeah. But knowing that you're PMSing doesn't stop any of the symptoms. So I was just kind of feeling like down and lethargic all day. And at some point, logic brain told me, hey, you got to go take a shower. And period brain was like, no, I don't want to take a shower. That sounds like the worst thing in the world right now. If I have to take a shower, I will die. And logic brain said, yeah, but like you went to the park and you rolled around in the grass with the dog and there was definitely probably poop in that grass. So you really got to take a shower. And period brain did not want to take a shower. So I thought maybe, I'm pretty sure I stink. I still haven't showered yet. Because I thought that if I went to Ulta and I bought myself like a fancy sponge or a new loofah, I would be excited to take a shower. But before I went to Ulta, I had to go to the doctor's because I had to get a test taken. And when I arrived at the doctor's, the nurse said, you can take a blood test or you can take a spit test. And I was like, that's awesome. Why would anybody take a blood test ever again if you could take a spit test? But I didn't know what a spit test was. She put me alone in a room with a cup and I just had to like spit repeatedly into the cup. And that does weird things to your self-esteem. Like, I don't know why. I did a self-care by going to the doctor. And when I got back into my car afterwards, I was like, I do not feel good about what I just did. And I hope nobody finds out about it ever. So I'm telling you now. And then afterwards, I went to Ulta to get my fancy sponge. But I didn't get a fancy sponge. I found this body wash. It's banana scented. And in the store, I was like, this is the most amazing thing I have ever smelled. And now it's an hour later and I'm like, this smells like banana Laffy Taffy. Why did I ever think at any point in my life that I wanted to smell like banana Laffy Taffy? And then I went to Starbucks because I wanted a brownie and they were out of brownies because apparently the whole city is PMSing today. So I got a giant frappuccino and then on my drive home, I was like, I have a brilliant idea. I'm going to pick myself up a cupcake because that way in the morning when my brain's like, hey, you're sad, bitch, I'll just eat the cupcake. So I went and I went to purchase a cupcake and I was standing in line and this lady next to me in line turned to me and she was like, did you know that sugar is worse for you than crack? And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not true. But thank you, ma'am. And then I went and got my cupcake so that in the morning I have a game plan for when I wake up. And then I immediately ate the cupcake. I still have a few bites left though. Anyway, it was a weird day.
Am I the asshole for leaving my in-laws' Christmas dinner after I found out they didn't make accommodations for me? So I got invited to my fiance's family Christmas celebratory dinner and it's my first Christmas with them. I've always been picky about what I eat and just can't help it. It has to do with psychological factors, childhood, and just personal likes and dislikes. Before accepting, I let future mother-in-law know that I wouldn't be eating the traditional food at their celebration and showed a variety of dishes that I could eat. You know, to accommodate me. She refused and told me to bring my own dish and I said as a guest if I have to do that, I better stay home. Besties, I think we can all agree that she better just stay home then. What the heck? Am I the asshole for leaving my in-laws' Christmas dinner after I found out they didn't make accommodations for me? We went back and forth and I insisted I wouldn't come if accommodations weren't made. I thought it was a simple request and future mother-in-law could have agreed if she really wanted me there. My fiance agreed that I should bring my own dish, but I didn't. I saw that no accommodations were made, so I got up, got my things, and went home. Both my future mother-in-law and fiance were shocked. I got tons of texts and calls from them, and my fiance came home lashing out at me, calling me selfish and spoiled. He said I was responsible to feed myself, but how is it my responsibility when I'm a guest? Am I the asshole for snitching and causing my friend to lose her scholarship and dream college acceptance? I, 19 female, am a sophomore in college and have a friend, Tia, 18 female, who's in high school and applying for colleges and scholarships. I helped her with the process and she got in early action to her top college and a full scholarship. I was happy for her until recently. I was talking to a mutual friend and she started gushing about how Tia's essay was so heartfelt and beautiful. I asked to see it and when I was reading it, I was taken completely aback. The essay was one of my college essay drafts that I showed Tia for reference on techniques only. I made this clear. Am I the asshole for snitching and causing my friend to lose her scholarship and dream college acceptance? I was livid because the essay was really personal and she even tweaked it up. It was almost entirely copied and pasted and I trusted her with it. In a fit of rage, I gathered all my evidence, including evidence of me sending the essay specifically to her and showed the school. She not only lost the scholarship, but also lost her seat in the school. Now people are calling me dramatic and shaming me for robbing her of her education. She's the only person in her family to get into college and receive an academic and athletic scholarship. And while I didn't expect that outcome to be so severe, it was. Am I wrong? Am I the asshole for telling my son's teacher to speak to me, not my girlfriend? I, 28 male, have a son, Nathan, 6 male, and I'm his sole parent. His teacher does not know about my ex for safety reasons, and she's been banned from coming to the school to get him. His school has parent-teacher meetings twice a year, and I've been dating my girlfriend Venus, 24 female, for the past 8 months. My son and her get along great, and he wants her to come to the parent-teacher conference. At the meeting, I noticed the teacher was only speaking to Venus and was making eye contact with only her. I found this annoying because the teacher knows that I am Nathan's sole parent. Eventually, I had to interrupt. Am I the asshole for telling my son's teacher to speak to me, not my girlfriend? Venus kept redirecting the conversation to me, and I did ask a few questions, but the teacher would speak to me for a few seconds, then go back to her. Eventually, I said, I'm Nathan's father, and I'd appreciate if you spoke to me. The teacher seemed taken aback and irritated, but did apologize and spoke to me for the rest of the meeting. My brother-in-law thinks that I overreacted and said that while he does find it annoying, he understands. It's not out of malice, it's just out of force of habit because mothers tend to be more involved. He also said it was my fault for bringing her to the meeting, and he thinks it was wrong to interrupt the teacher.